How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for this video, I am sitting in the 2019 Toyota RAV4 Limited all-wheel drive SUV. So we'll talk about some of the good, some of the bad, so you can make a better informed decision before you visit the dealerships and buy this car. For the 2019 model year, the RAV4 enters the 5th generation. It's been around for a very long time, since the 1990s. And this new one rides on Toyota's all-new global platform called the TNGA-K. Now, that stands for Toyota New Global Architecture, and it's shared with a lot of other models like the Toyota Camry, the Toyota Avalon, and also the Lexus ES. Now, the first thing I like about this car is the available tech. This thing comes with a 360-degree camera system. So there's a camera in the front, one under each side view mirror, and one in the back. So of course the back camera is a requirement, so all new cars should have a backup camera system. But with this one, when you put it into park, you get a bird's eye view of everything around you. You could also toggle between views so you could tell if you're close to the curb or not. Another piece of tech that I like is also the smart key that's available on all 4 doors. Your own door may not be the first door that you open, so it would be nice to just be able to open any door and unlock the vehicle that way. The next piece of tech that I like is the available Apple Carplay. Now, they've been around for a while, but this is pretty significant for this RAV4 because it is now finally available. In the 2018 models, you could only rely on their Entune 3.0 system, which I'm not a big fan at all. And they have it here as well, and nothing seems to have really changed very much. It's still kind of slow, it's still kind of clunky. The one downside to this Apple CarPlay unit is that this is still the wired version. Now, there's not a lot of cars that have true wireless Apple CarPlay capabilities. A lot of BMWs have that, and the new Toyota Supra has that. And if you're interested to see my review of the new Toyota Supra, please click the link up here. But with this one, it's still a traditional Apple CarPlay, so if you want to use it, you still have to climb in here, plug in your phone, and turn on the system that way. And just like with any other crossover that's been optioned to the max, this Toyota RAV4 Limited also comes with heated steering wheel, front seats that are heated and also ventilated, and for this one, the back seats are also heated. So what is it like to drive this thing? Well, the new TNGA platform is pretty nice. The ride on this thing is dialed in nicely. I mean, the suspension, it just soaks up all sorts of bumps. You know, the steering's not that numb. Again, this isn't the most exciting drive. Then again, this isn't a sports car. Driving on the highway, I was able to achieve about 32.5 miles per gallon, and that's driving around 70 to 75 miles per hour. And driving around town and getting some mixed driving in, I was able to achieve 29 miles per gallon. Now, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, which usually means that all-wheel drive vehicles have more parasitic loss because there's more rotating components. But with this one, there's a unique feature where you could disconnect the rear driveline so that when you're going on two-wheel drive mode, you're not really rotating additional components. So that way, you're saving more gas. Another thing I like about this car is also the D4s System. Now, that is a dual port and direct injection system that's found in a lot of Toyotas. So you get the benefits of both worlds. You get the benefits of direct injection, which gives you better power density and also better efficiency, but it also gives you the reliability of port injection. The other thing I like about this car is the engine output. This comes equipped with a 2.5-liter inline-4. It makes 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. You know, the power figures of these crossovers have crept up more and more, and this has more power than the Honda CR-V, which is a turbocharged vehicle. This one is naturally aspirated, so it's a little bit simpler in the engine bay, and also the power delivery is a little bit more linear. And attached to that 2.5-liter engine is an 8-speed automatic transmission. I think it's just okay. It's fairly clever. There's different driving modes. You could put yourself into eco, normal, or sport, so that just changes the shifting program. Sometimes when you try to overtake someone or like going up hills, it does try to hunt for the proper gear. So it can feel a little bit sluggish that way, but normally under normal driving in automatic mode, everything's just fine and dandy. Again, this doesn't seem to shift as fast as the newer ZF 8-speed units that's found in a lot of different vehicles, but in my opinion, this 8-speed automatic transmission is just okay. And lastly, what I like about this car is the all-wheel drive system. Now this comes with the dynamic vectoring all-wheel drive system that's new for Toyota. There's actually a pretty good video where Toyota compared the performance of the outgoing model, the 2018s, compared with this one. And this one was able to go up hills and muddy surfaces a little bit better just because of the dynamic torque vectoring. It uses brakes, just kind of like a brake locking differential, where it'll squeeze down on the side that needs more torque so that the system can send more torque to the side that needs it the most. All that means is that you're just going to be able to off-road this car a little bit better. This all-wheel drive system does have different modes. It has mud, sand, and rock and snow. So depending on how loose the surfaces beneath where your tires are, you want to put yourself into those different modes, and then it could distribute torque properly to the left and right sides of the rear wheel. And like I said before, this has the rear driveline disconnect so that when you're driving on the highway and the surfaces are nice and you don't need that all-wheel drive system, it will disconnect the rear driveline so that it's less parasitic loss to the entire system so that you get better mileage that way. Which brings up the first bad thing I don't like about this car, and that's the rear driveline disconnect sounds, because I don't know if you've been hearing throughout this entire review, but there are some strange noises coming from the front of the car. Now, it might just be this specific car. I don't know if it's a prevalent issue. Did you hear that? And I've been reading this online, but I would hear some sort of a squeaking sound every once in a while. Did you hear that? And it happens very randomly. Again, I don't know where those sounds are coming from, but I believe it's the dog clutches that engage and disengage that system. Is that a big issue? I'm not really sure. And this car has 5,000 miles on it. Again, this is a press car, so it does have a harder life than a normal car would. But throughout my 500 plus miles of driving this car, heard it every once in a while, again, going low speeds. Not necessarily on highway speeds very much, but in the transition periods when I'm going from kind of like a high speed to a low speed setting, I would hear those squeaking or groaning sounds. Again, it comes from the front portion of the vehicle. The other bad thing I don't like about this car is the amount of cabin noise that gets translated into here. You hear everything, and you hear this engine, which doesn't sound very good at all. When you really put your foot down, you really hear this engine. Sounds kind of raspy, not so pleasant, but you know, you only hear that every once in a while. With that being said, I really don't have anything else bad to say about this car. I actually really enjoyed driving this car for the past week. Again, I've put about 500 miles on this thing, and it's a really pleasant drive on the highways, on the local roads. It's not a lively drive, but it's not boring either. Again, the steering response is nice, the engine performance is decent, and you get great gas mileage. And on top of that, you get all this tech available to you, and it just makes your life that much better. Let's talk about the looks real quick, and I won't comment on it very much because you have eyeballs and you could arrive at your own conclusions, but I personally like the look of this car because they changed the look for the 2019 models. They stepped up the level of aggression in the looks department. As for the interior, it looks pretty upscale. There's a lot of leather surfaces in here. There's a two-tone look. The buttons and the dials for the HVAC and the radio controls are laid out pretty nicely. You know, I really like the way they laid out the heated and ventilated seat buttons. A lot of cars, they embed those features into the infotainment system, and you know, it's when you're wearing gloves, when it's cold outside, and sometimes it doesn't even register with the touchscreen. So it's nice to have physical buttons on the RAV4. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think about the RAV4 in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Please share your thoughts. And if you liked or learned something from this video, please consider hitting that like button down below, hitting that subscribe button, and also hitting that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we make a new video. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Shifting Lanes channel. We review new cars like this 2019 Toyota RAV4 Limited. We also have project cars. We have several project cars, so if you're interested in seeing us wrench on our own cars, please consider subscribing. And furthermore, we also attend a lot of interesting driving events. Like for instance, Toyota gave me this car so I could drive down to the latest Formula Drift event down in Wall, New Jersey. If you're interested in watching that video, it's linked up here. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson. This is the 2019 Toyota RAV4 Limited all-wheel drive SUV, and I'll see you next time.